compensating and equivalent variation. To be able to tell what that is, we need to use the indifference curves graph for a consumer here. So we have the two goods, y1 and y2. We have the original budget constraint, which has a slope of p1 before divided by p2. We want to maximize the utility, so we will find the highest utility function that is available to us and therefore choose the bundle which is tangent, where the budget constraint is tangent to the utility function. We have a change in the price, so in this case we let the price of good 1 increase, and we see here that the budget set is now below the original utility function, so it's impossible to achieve the original utility. So we have to make a new utility choice, and we therefore obtain utility after. And therefore we have a new relative price, P1 after divided by P2. So this is the normal way of defining the demand function for a good, the Marshallian demand function. If we now want to compensate this consumer for this, we can do it in two ways. Either we can compensate the consumer after the price has changed, and that will give us a situation here that we will now face a new budget constraint, a compensated budget constraint with the new prices, which is this green one. And we'll let that one be exactly tangent to the original utility function. So we see here that we have changed from the original bundle to the new green one. And to be able to do that, we have to compensate, we have to give this money to the consumer. And that is called the compensating variation amount. The other way of doing this is that we can compensate before the price has changed, and in this case it's has to do how much money we can take away from the consumer at the old prices to give her a utility that is equal to the one that she would receive after the price change. So that will give us a new budget constraint which has the same slope as the original one, and therefore we could reduce the income. We can take money away from the consumer in this case, and therefore let her achieve the same utility level as we should have had if we changed the prices. And this is called the equivalent variation. And both of them are different versions of trying to express the difference between different utility functions. The only case where they are equally the same is the example when we have quasi-linear preferences, because quasi-linear preferences are parallel shifted. And in that case, the the CV is equal to the consumer surplus and equal to the equivalent variation. In all the other cases, we will have a slightly different number here. So this compensating variation will be a little bit larger than the consumer surplus, which will be a little larger than the equivalent variation. But it's a good approximation.